What's up, badass Black Desert Mobile fans? In this video, I'm going to go over 10 tips and tricks to help you on your journey in Black Desert Mobile. Now, I've already made one of these and you guys liked it a lot. That was almost 8 months ago and a lot has changed. I also understand that a list of 10 can be difficult to come up with, as there's loads more that could be useful, way more than 10. So I did try to come up with the 10 best ones that I could think of. If you have a tip or trick that you'd like to add to the list, by all means, let me know in the comments down below. If this is your first time here, be sure to check out the description down below for additional badass Black Desert Mobile content. You won't be disappointed. These are in no specific order, and without further delay, let's dive right in. Inventory is always an issue in Black Desert Mobile, so it's important to utilize your alt accounts as well as your storage in your camp and your horses. I usually keep all of my leftover accessories on one alt, crystals on another alt, and so on. So I do utilize all of these alts for storage. This helps to free up space in the camp for items that have a higher quantity and that are heavier. Paying attention to the weight of the item is important. And what's nice is the storage in your camp doesn't have a weight limit. Characters do. So you want to put higher quantity items in your camp. So if you notice my camp here, I like to keep the blackstones in the camp, as well as these items that from merchantry, any gold items, fragments, anything that's heavy, these chests right here, anything you don't want to open up. I like to keep all of that in the storage because the storage has no weight limit. While we're on inventory, let's talk about how to farm overnight or while you're going to be away from your phone or device for a while. This does not pertain to those using an emulator, but here's how it goes. First and foremost, you need to prepare a few things in order for this to go as best as possible. First, you need to save your gear chests for every slot so that if they drop, you can still pick them up, as you can see here. Second thing, you want to save one copy of every yellow skill book, so if they drop, you can still collect them as well. It is also advisable to have one purple, blue, and even green skill book in your inventory as well. Third, you're going to want to have the loot item drop of the territory. So for example, if I was going to farm at Basham's all night, I would make sure I have the Basham tokens in my inventory so that way I can continue to collect those throughout the night. This also works with sauce and pouches and anything of the similar nature. You also want to keep one of every blackstone. After that, you're going to want to make sure your inventory is filled to the max, whether it's 160 or 130, wherever you're at. So blackstones, one of every blackstone, so you can continue to pick those up. Once it's maxed, you're going to either want to call your horse or go to your camp. And what you're going to want to do at your camp is you're going to want to take out some inventory from your storage until you're maxed on inventory over here. And then go to the loot drop item like the Bashim's Fellhorn right here, and then just simply delete it. Now it's only 400. You're not missing a lot of silver. It's not a big deal. You can also go into the town and then sell them and then come here. So you delete that item and then unload one of the other items until you're at maxed inventory. So I would theoretically have 160 out of 160. So when I go back to farm, I cannot pick up those items. I continue then to farm all night. And if you have all of the gear chests up here, if you have all of your yellow skill books, if you have the purple, green, and blue, and even white, so typically I'll be full on inventory and skill books, so that way I can collect those throughout the night. And then if you do that exactly, you will farm much better. You'll get a lot more experience, and you won't miss out on the experience, as well as the skill books and all the other stuff. This is great if you're a mobile phone user. So it's still super effective for gaining experience and continuing to farm while you rest. Maximize your camp. What do I mean by this? You always want to be producing dark energy experience as well as outfits. So as you can see, I have dark energy producing there. You only have the option to produce the purple ones 10 at a time. I have that always going, as well as outfits. I also understand that you need Breath of Creations and Breath of Lives. So you're just going to have to, the only way you can get those is by farming, gathering material. You can farm them from sauce and pouches as well. It does take a little bit longer, but I recommend crafting them as much as possible, especially for alt accounts. Be sure to gather materials using your stamina. That is the best way. You can get them from the node as well, but it is not advisable to farm them there. Outfits can add 100+ combat power per character, and if you're like me, I have 7 characters, so that's a lot of outfits, especially when you fail. As you can see here, I have all 7 characters. And if we go to my wardrobe here, I actually have the Kislev one appearance showing, but I actually have the Sorcerer's Kavaro 22 out of 22, and then the Millen Fedora weapon 16 out of 16. So you definitely want to make sure you're maximizing your camp, maximizing your node, doing your merchantry. Tip number 2 has to do with 4 stones. I've seen a lot of people talking about they failed on using their 4 stones, and you're using them wrong if you're trying to use 4 stones to level up your gear. 4 stones should be strictly used for your gear awakening, so awaken enhancements to make these pristine ones. This is the only place you want to use your 4 stones on. You don't want to use them to level up your gear through enhancements and then force enhance at the top of there. You don't want to use it for this. It's a waste. You're going to fail 99% of the time. Save them until your gear is plus 40, and then you can use them to make pristines, and you'll level up your gear a lot quicker. The next tip is the Talus Shop. It now drops world boss scrolls, boss stamps, black stones, and even resources for your camp. Some of these items cost silver, some cost black pearls. I know the world boss scrolls cost 50 million silver, or 50 black pearls and 50 million silver, depends when it pops. Either way, it's a great deal. You can also refresh this 10 times per day with black pearls. As free to play, I wouldn't recommend refreshing it, but definitely buy the scrolls and the boss stamps. The tower trial tickets are a great option. However, I don't think those are worth it for spending 200 black pearls. I also would not buy any of the black stones, as we are getting a lot of those through various events. World boss tickets cannot be farmed, so I strongly recommend buying those. The next tip is subscribe to my channel. It is probably the best tip on the list, hands down. So if you like the first few tips, you know damn well this is a solid one also. Next, we're going to talk about saving your fragments for specific raid ups and events. So for right now, I recommend saving your light stones, because Haddam's going to come out down the road, and they already dropped red light stones, so you don't need to save them for that, but you want to save them for Haddam, so that way you can turn them in. You also want to save relic fragments. Alchemy stone fragments were great to save. They just did an increase on that, so now would be a good time to use your alchemy stone fragments. Ancient coins, you want to save those for any raid ups as well, like Shakatu, the mystical raid up they have right now, potentially adding accessories down the road, as well as any gold items you get from your ranch. I don't have a whole lot, but you definitely do want to save those for collections that open up down the road and any other thing like that. Alright, up next, let's talk about events. Do them all of them, all the time, including your 5 arena matches every day, getting 400 points in Ramonis. They offer silver, boss stamps, and crystals, all of which are helpful to grow your account. As far as events, Black Desert Mobile does a pretty solid job with giving us events that are helpful for everyone, free to play and pay to win alike. So be sure to maximize these events whenever possible. For example, right now we have the multiple events going on right now, like the bingo event, Termian Island event. If you haven't gone there and fished and picked up your maps in a bottle and given them to all your accounts, you can get potentially 70,000 coins as well as some silver. All of them have potential for solid rewards to help grow your account, so I strongly recommend doing all of your events whenever they come up. Up next, we're going to talk about boss rushes and progressing them. Boss rushes are a vital part of Black Desert Mobile. Not are they pretty much the only PvE content that's challenging or fun, but they also offer massive rewards in 4 main areas. Blackstones for weapons and armor, you can check them out here. Shakatu coins, and lots of Shakatu coins, by the way. Silver, and we're talking 25 plus million silver every 4 levels at the higher levels. All boss rushes can be completed around 6,000 CP. Some are harder than others, and you can get the harder bosses, the rewards, as you get the harder bosses, the rewards get better. So like Cats and Buru rewards are better than every other boss's rewards, for example. Side tip with this, I recommend saving your boss stamps until you have at least 5k stamps before turning them in, for special boss rushes can offer huge rewards as well. You want to maximize the multiplier with this. If you turn in every few hundred, the chances of getting 1 boss rush is minimal, and if you do, it's only 1 time, so you won't get a big multiplier. If you did it at 7 times though and got a big multiplier, you could get hundreds of thousands of Shakatu coins at once. So save at least 5k stamps, then exchange. Last but not least, we have farming / grinding, which is hands down the most important aspect of the game. I mean, let's be honest here. We do this 22 hours out of the day, and we actually play the game for, 1 to 2 hours. So tips I have for this are, obviously, don't farm on top of someone else. Listen, I know you hit the auto move button. You went right to the spot. It's your I always farm the same button spot. I get it, but do us a favor. Hit that button, then check your phone 2 minutes later. And if you're parked on top of someone, change channels or move. It benefits no one. Secondly, it's always important to be farming where violent mobs spawn, so you have the best chances for red chests and red rewards. Up next, you want to make sure you are farming in a CP area that you can kill mobs with one hit. If you're farming for experience, it's one hit. If you're farming for experience, it's about quantity over quality. If you're farming for silver, it's about quality over quantity, so they're opposite. So if I was farming silver, I would go to a place that would take, 2 or 3 mobs to kill, like the centaurs up here. If I was farming experience, I would go back to Bashims or even the Waragons where I could one-shot mobs. So it's very important that you are farming for experience. You have to be able to kill the mobs in one shot for maximum experience gains. And if you're farming for silver, you can get away with 2 to 3 shots or hits on the target as long as it's a higher silver gain rate. That's all the tips for this video. If you guys want to see more, by all means, like I said, drop them in the comments down below. These are just 10. I've seen a lot of people ask about some of these different tips in server chat, Discord, all over the place. So I figured I'd compile some of them, help you guys out a little bit. If you enjoyed them, make sure you hit that like as well as drop a comment. And with that being said, I will see you next time.